What's up guys, Lisa He of Borderlands Bakery here and
Malek from Fostered by Malek Ben.
We are going to be layering and crumb coating a cake today. So in case you missed it, we had two videos before this one where we baked a birthday cake and then we wrapped it up and we froze it, and that helps trap the moisture in. And then we also
made some stabilized American buttercream.
Check out those videos if you're not caught up with where things are at. So in this video, we're going to be using a couple of things to help us layer and crumb coat. So What do we got, Malek?
Okay, so we have a cake turntable. This is pretty common in any cake decorating. This is to help hold your cake, not only hold your cake unstable, but also when you're icing, you can turn it as you're going. So you're not using your entire body weight to cause pain while you're decorating. So that's a great tool.
All right, so I have a preference when it comes to turntables. Other people may not be as picky. I don't do cakes that much, but I noticed that a quality turntable does make a difference. This is about $40 on Amazon. You can grab it in the link below, but it's super heavy duty and it is frictionless. Absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
Makes your cake decorating life a way easier. And then we will also need
offset spatula. This is also common in cake decorating. There's a variety of different offset spatulas. There's an angled one and also a straight one. People have their preference, and this is just to apply the icing onto your cake. Another essential tool to use while you're cake decorating is also a cake scraper. This one is an acrylic cake scraper. You can get it in the link in the description below. They have many different varieties as well with this one. They have metal, stainless steel, and also acrylic. My preference works best with acrylic. When you're using a metal scraper, you will sometimes have to apply heat or a torch. This one, you don't have to apply heat, and also have a nice sharp edge, so as you're scraping, it takes a lot of excess while leaving a smooth surface. So yeah.
So you notice this one has two edges, right? So it's got a straight edge and then it's got one with like indents.
Yes.
These are really designed for striped cakes. And if you want to learn how to make striped cakes, we do have a course coming out real soon. We will link it once the course comes out in the description box to teach you how to do all of these different cake decorating techniques.
The last thing you'll need is a cake board. This is just something for you to put your cakes on. I think it's really professional to have a cake board on here. Usually you can decorate without one, but again, I think it's real professional to keep your cakes on here. Also, if you need to transport cakes, this is also an easy way to use while you're decorating cakes.
One of the things about cake boards that I always tell people is get a size that's like at least an inch or so bigger than your cake base. That way you have room to work with. And if you want to add like a ring of anything, any decoration or anything, you have some room. But also, if you're putting cakes into a box, this gives you a little bit of protection between the cake itself and the box so that when it moves, it doesn't accidentally hit the side of the box.
All right, you guys, we're here ready to assemble our cake. I'm gonna show you how to layer, stack, fill, and crumb coat your cake. This is the basic cake decorating, and it's super simple, and I can't wait to show you guys. So before we get into the start of it, usually I would like to use a sort of grip to put under my cake board so it does not slide as I am applying pressure. Usually I would use a damp paper towel, but Lisa has gave me a product that I'm like, what? This is a silicone grip pad, and you just basically put it under the mat.
It's actually a jar opener, but we sell it as like a cookie, like a work mat, mini work mat for your cookie swivels, and it works great for cake decorating.
Yes, and it does. Watch this, you guys. So you just put that right there.
Put this on. It does not budge.
It's not going anywhere.
That's what we want.
Perfect. Now, let's go ahead and get started. So I am going to take off the plastic wrap. We did have it in the freezer just to settle in any moisture as well as firm the cake, because you definitely want a firm cake or a frozen cake while you are icing the cake, because if you're trying to force a very moist and soft cake, it is not gonna go well. So definitely use a freezing hat, and I'm just gonna go ahead and take it off. Put it to the side. Don't forget to take off your parchment circles. So in order to stack your cake, all I'm gonna do is take a little bit of buttercream, and actually I'm gonna use offset spatula because I'm able to get more control. Just a little bit, and I'm just gonna add some to the board, and this is just to stick the cake to the board so it doesn't go anywhere. And then on the first layer, you want to make sure you have the bottom cake facing down, just so you have a smooth edge. So you're gonna place that on the board. Make sure it's stuck there. Make sure you center it. Use your eye to center it.
Use your eyes. That's like my favorite thing that Malek
That's
says.
my
He
new
says,
quote.
use your eyes.
They're $4.99.
Did you hear that? Free 99.
$3.99, yes. Also, quick little thing. Do you have like a leveler? If not, that's fine.
No.
That would be like a bonus. Okay, don't worry about it. No
I
problem.
mean, like probably in my husband's toolbox.
But like if you want to be super legit and want to make sure your cakes are perfectly level, you can use a leveler.
Yes, a cake leveler, and you'll just add it straight onto the cake with the icing, and then, you know, if you're very precise, but I've done this so many times.
We're gonna use our eyes today, though.
The most expensive tool we own. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just go with it. I'm just gonna stir up my buttercream just so I can get it.
It's pretty stiff, you guys. So I usually don't put shortening in my American buttercream, and I definitely see how this is way stiffer and how it can withstand like humidity or warmth much better.
Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and take some buttercream, and I'm gonna put some on the top, just a little bit, not so much. And I'm gonna use my offset spatula, and this is an angled spatula, the one, you know, angled. There are some with straight. It's fine. Whatever offset spatula you're using, whenever you're icing cakes, you want to remember to use the back side of the spatula. You could use this one, but you don't want to, like, you know,
It's gonna be a funky angle.
Yes. So make sure you're using the back, and then place your index finger to, you know, apply control as you're spreading it. And you're just spreading it like bread on butter. Okay.
Bread on butter.
Yes, bread on butter. Cream cheese on a bagel. And you're gonna, you know, use your turntable to turn. Don't move your body, okay? You're in control of the cake. Don't let the cake be in control of you. That's another tip that I will also say as well. And I'm just going to turn the turntable and spread at the same time to make sure I get an even amount across the top. And you don't have to be perfect.
Like a little bit coming out the edges, no big deal, because we need some buttercream coming out the edges anyway.
As well, yes. And then you do that. And then, you know, after that, now I'm gonna do something that I developed myself because I feel like it works. Not only faster, but also more efficient. And what I'm going to do, usually we would stack and fill. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ice the entire cake, and then I'm gonna stack and then do it then. That way, everything is already iced, and then when we finish, we'll just take the scraper and just scrape
Clean it up. You're just basically cleaning it up. Okay.
Yes. So that's just what I do. And all I'm gonna do again is I'm gonna scoop some icing, but I'm gonna use the back of it because we're gonna go straight onto the side.
So like, okay. So one of the things that we didn't do is we didn't like trim the tops.
Yes.
We just kind of kept it because like, we aren't looking for like perfect. Also, it's good enough. Good enough is good enough. So sometimes if you feel like you need to level out your cakes a little more buttercream where it's a little less cake will help, you know, overcome that. And honestly, most people are not gonna notice. So why trim if you don't have to? Because we're lazy.
Right, exactly. I mean,
yeah,
that's true.
So like if there's a little ball, like more empty spot, you're gonna put more buttercream in?
Yeah, I'm gonna put more buttercream. This is just to put a base, and then I'm gonna go back in, and then, you know. And then whatever filling that you wanna add in, this is the time where you can add it in there. If you are doing a filled cake, it would be different. You would just get a decorating bag.
Yeah.
Use Lisa's tipless bags. I use that all the time. And you'll just pipe a dam around the cake.
So the filling doesn't fall out.
So the filling doesn't fall out while you're, you know, icing the cake. So yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to grab some buttercream, and again, the back of the spatula, and I'm going to ice the side. All I'm going to do is place the icing straight onto the cake, and then I'm going to use my other hand and pull the turntable, and I'm just going to drag it across the cake. Stop! Okay. Do that again.
So you're applying a lot of pressure, huh? Quite a bit of pressure.
Yes.
To get it to stick.
Remember you guys, we are doing a crumb coat. We're not doing a full coat. This is just to seal all of the crumbs, because after we finish the crumb coat, we're gonna allow the cake to chill, and then we're gonna add more buttercream to clean up all of the crumbs that we missed. So if it looks imperfect, don't worry about it. Remember, it's just a crumb coat, which is a thin layer of icing. After you get your sides with a generous amount of icing, before we put the next cake layer, you want to make sure you clean off the edges. Make sure before you do anything to your cake, make sure your offset spatula is clean. And all you gotta do is just wipe it on the bowl and you're good. So I'm going to clean up my edges on the cake, and all I'm going to do is use, again, the back of my spatula and your eyes. Some people like to do it from the inside out. I like to go from the outside in because I'm able to see how much I have to clean off of my edge. But do what you like. I prefer the outward in. But just to do that, you'll just take the back and you're gonna angle it about 45 degrees, and you're gonna place it onto the edge, and you're gonna start from the edge and pull towards the cake. Just like that. So you have a clean edge before you add the next cake on top. Before we add the next layer, I am going to add a little bit more buttercream to the top of this layer. I'm feeling a little ambitious today, and I want to add in some sprinkles in between the layer because why not? We love to be extra, right? I'm using Sweet Polita sprinkles named Cindy Lou Who, and we have a link for you down below for 10% off for your first order. Okay. Just a little bit. Now I'm gonna add my second cake layer down, right on top. And then we're gonna do the same technique as we did with the first layer by adding a dot of buttercream, making sure it's even, do the sides, and then more buttercream to make sure it's insured, and then we're gonna put our final cake layer on top. Now that we did those 3 steps for the 3 layers, all I'm gonna do now is to make sure, you know, there's a lot of texture on our cake. So I'm just going to use my cake smoother, and I'm just gonna run it across just to ensure that it's smooth. And plus it's a crumb coat, so we wanna get as much icing that we could get off of, because it's just to seal the crumbs of the cake. So how to use your smoother. Your dominant hand holds the scraper, and your non-dominant hand controls the turntable. Hold your scraper against the cake 90 degrees and use your non-dominant hand to turn the turntable. You're not moving the scraper is staying. And you're gonna have some, just make sure you wipe as you scrape. I'm gonna put it again, use my hand and move the scrape. Just like so. I'm gonna do it again.
Jump in here for a second. So this is definitely practice. Malek is quite comfortable with all of this, but when you're first starting, it feels super awkward. But you basically make one full turn and kind of end where you started on the cake when it comes to scraping the cake. And I find that tip really helps me.
Correct.
That way you reduce the amount of edging that you might see, or the breaks in buttercream that you might see. So like, we want it to be smooth, but you can see how there's a slight break here. That's where we kind of ended, that's how you can tell. For the crumb coat, it doesn't really matter, but when we start scraping that layer for the decoration coat, that's gonna be the stuff that we look out for.
It looks good for right now, but just to ensure that you won't have any pockets anywhere, just add a little bit more icing just to cover it, because you really want to ensure full smoothness on your crumb coat. So when you are applying your final coat, it doesn't leave that texture onto your final icing. And
it's freaking beautiful, Malek.
thank you.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And there we go. And now you have your crumb coat. So before you apply your final coat, you want to chill your cake for at least 10 to 15 minutes in the fridge, or you can chill it for 5 minutes in the freezer, but I prefer the fridge because it gives it a nice cool future before you add in your final coat of icing.